Hello students, welcome. In this lecture, we will study the phase diagram. So the first question should come to your mind that what is meant by a phase? As we know that if we take an example of water, we have three phases. One is solid, one is liquid and one is vapors. So these phases and their relationship or their variation with the temperature and pressure or concentration or any other variable is known as phase diagram. So we will take an example of magnesium first. I will tell you the importance of phase diagram and then we will study it. So in this graph you can see the x-axis is the temperature, the y-axis is the pressure, and there is a graph here, some lines are there, right? So you can see that there are three phases here. One is called as solid, one is called as vapor and one is called as liquid. Especially for aerospace application or for space shuttle application, you should have lowest density for more fuel efficiency, and the ideal choice of the material is the magnesium. It has low density as compared to other materials or other metals. But the problem with magnesium is that as soon as you cross a certain temperature, say here around 700 degrees Celsius, it will become vapor or it will sublimate. Similarly, if you increase the pressure above 1 atmosphere, it will become liquid. So while going from Earth atmosphere to the space, there will be a friction with the atmosphere. Due to that, there will be a heat formation, and due to that heat formation there is a material loss, and due to material loss your space shuttle or your material will get damaged. So we cannot use magnesium for aerospace applications, and this information we can find out using the phase diagram. So the ideal choice is aluminum and beryllium. They also have high temperature and they are also lightweight, but the problem is that beryllium is a poisonous, so we don't use it, and the remaining choice is aluminum. All of the materials in aerospace industry are having different alloys of aluminum. So now we will study the phase diagram here. So the definition of phase is it should be physically distinct, it should be chemically homogeneous, and it should be mechanically separable. If these conditions are satisfied, we can call it as a phase. For example, if we take a water, we have three phases. One is liquid, one is solid, and one is gas. Right? So these three are physically distinct. For example, if I take a beaker here, and if we have a water in that beaker, we also have ice cubes in the beaker, and there are some vapors also. So these three, that is solid, liquid and gas, in this case are physically distinct. We can easily separate out, or we can easily find out which is the vapor, which is the gas, and which is solid and which is liquid. Similarly, this should be chemically homogeneous. So here liquid is homogeneous, solid is also homogeneous, and vapor are also homogeneous. And third thing is that it should be mechanically separable. So you can see that we can easily take out the vapors or easily take out the solid from the liquid. So that's why we called here this as a phase. So we can categorize phase into three types. One is solid, one is liquid, and one is gas. The solid phase we can categorize based on the crystal structure. The solid should be chemically and structurally distinct. For example, if I have BCC iron and if I have FCC iron, that we call as two different or two distinct phases. If I have sand and salt, we can call this as a multi-phase system. We have two phases here. We have an example of iron here. from room temperature, if you heat the iron, it can undergo different phase transitions such as alpha, gamma and delta. Alpha represents BCC, gamma represents FCC and delta represents BCC. So here we have only solid, but there are three different phases. So you have to remember that we distinguish solid phases based on crystal structure and not based on whether they are solid or not. Even if they are solid, if they are different crystal structure, that we call as a different phases. The liquid phase we can classify based on the miscibility. So if you take an example of NaCl plus H2O, that is NaCl plus water, they are perfectly miscible, then they are called as a single phase. If you put oil in water, we can call it as a multi-phase system. If you put salt in water, single phase, milk plus coffee, single phase. So here you can see the example of kerosene, water and honey. We have three different phases here in the liquid state. This is multi-phase system. Similarly, the gas phases we can also classify based on miscibility. And you have to remember here that gas is always in a single phase because we cannot separate out different gas particles. So it will always be in a single phase as there is atomic level mixing. For example, nitrogen plus oxygen and air. Then there is a term called as components. Components are the chemical species, those are taking part in the reaction. The components can be a single element, can be ion or can be a compound. We have some examples here. For example, if I take Au and Cu, we have two components here. One is Au and another is Cu. If we have H2O, we can have only one component here because this is water and there is a molecule of water. If we add H2 and sugar, we have two chemical species. NaCl and sand, we have two chemical species. Al2O3 and Cr2O3, we have two chemical species. Then there is a term called as degree of freedom. A degree of freedom is defined as system response to the stimulus. The stimulus can be a temperature, can be a pressure, concentration, time, error, anything. And degree of freedom is in a number from 0 and forward. Then there is a term called as number of variables. Generally there are many variables. We can have a concentration, we can have error, time and so on. But in the phase diagram, we use thermodynamic variables or non-combustible variables, and those are temperature and pressure. So we deal with two types of variables, and this, including all these, we form a diagram. That diagram we can call it as a phase diagram. If the chemical phases are in equilibrium, we can call that as a phase diagram. Equilibrium means the state of the system should remain constant or stable for indefinite time. So if I have water, if that water does not change its phase, that we call as water is in equilibrium. Similarly, if I have a metal such as copper, if copper does not change its phase at fixed time and at fixed pressure, then I can call that as a copper phase is in equilibrium. So there is a relation between these four parameters. So first parameter is the phase. P is for phases such as solid, liquid and gases. Then F is the degree of freedom. C is the chemical species, or we call that as a component. Chemical species taking part in the reaction, and N is the number of variables. We generally deal in the phase diagram with temperature and pressure only. So we deal with two number of variables. Then we will take an example of unary phase diagram. Unary phase diagram has a single component. Unary meaning is single. So unary phase diagram always have a single component. So in this example you can see that there is only one component, and that is H2O. H2O has three different phases. So component here is, since it is unary, it will be always one. We have three different phases here. One is solid, one is liquid, and one is vapor. Solid, liquid, and vapor. We have two variables here. One is called as temperature, another is called as pressure. So variables 2, and F is the degrees of freedom. So the degrees of freedom, it can be 0, 1, 2. I will tell you how the degrees of freedom are changing here and what is the meaning of degree of freedom. So degree of freedom, it means that how many variables we can choose independently. Components, that what we can control. We can choose whether we have one component or we can have two components or more than that. Phases is what the system can control. We cannot have any control on the phases. It will get decided by the component as well as the pressure and temperature conditions. Right? So I will tell you now how we can get degrees of freedom. For example, we can choose three different points. I am at point A, that is here, point B, that is on line, and point C, that is at the three-phase boundary. This boundary is the boundary between solid, between vapor, and between liquid phase. That is three-phase boundary, and that we call as a triple point. So at triple point, the degrees of freedom is equal to 0. If we use this formula also, we can get the same answer. Components, we have only one component here, so 1 plus 2 equal to 3. 3 minus 3 phases at the triple point, the answer is 0. So we have 0 degrees of freedom at point C. It means that if you want to stay at this particular point, your pressure and temperature should be fixed. If you change by 1 degree Celsius or by some atmosphere, you will not be at the same position. So here we have 0 degree of freedom. You don't have any choice. You have to stay on this same point if you want to stay in that position. If you take point number B, if you want to stay at point number B, or if you want to stay on the line which point number B lies, you have to fix one parameter. For example, at point B, if I say the temperature is 60 degrees Celsius, if I want to stay on the point number B, the pressure should be fixed. So if you change one parameter, your another parameter should get fixed automatically, and that's why there is 1 degree of freedom. You can change only one parameter at a time. So that's why degree of freedom is 1. So 1 degree of freedom. You can change only one parameter at a time. If you are in point A, that means if you are in this region, you can vary your both parameters simultaneously. You can vary pressure as well as you can vary the temperature. But for precise location, you have to fix the pressure as well as temperature. And here we have 2 degrees of freedom, because as soon as I say my pressure is 100 atmosphere, my temperature can be anything from 10 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. So we are not sure about the temperature. Similarly, if I say my temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, the pressure can be 1 atmosphere to 1000 atmosphere, say. So to have a precise location, you should fix both parameters. That's why the degree of freedom is 2. So at this point, we have 2 degree of freedoms. So if we take 2 components, that is C equal to 2, we can have only 4 phases in equilibrium, because we cannot go beyond 0 degrees of freedom. We cannot have minus degrees of freedom. It should be minimum 0. So in this system, if you measure by these formulas, you can have only 4 number of phases in equilibrium. Now if I take water, 100 ml water, and if I add sugar into that solution, so if I take 100 ml water and add sugar into that solution, there is a limit for addition of sugar. For example, if I keep on increasing the addition of sugar, for example 1 gram, 2 gram, 3 gram and so on, there will be a limit. After that, sugar will not be soluble in the liquid or in the water. It will get super saturated and it will get settled down to the bottom. At that point, we can call as solubility limit. So here we have composition on the x-axis that shows weight percent of sugar. Weight percent of sugar increases from 0 to 100%, and weight percent of water will decrease from 100% to 0%. So this is for H2O, that is water. So at 20 weight percent, 40 weight percent and till 65 weight percent at 20 degrees Celsius, we can have a solution of sugar into the water. It means that we cannot separate sugar and water, so that we can treat as single phase. But after that point, after 65 weight percent at 20 degrees Celsius, sugar gets super saturated and it will get settled down. So we have 2 phases here. One is the liquid and one is solid sugar, which is precipitate or which is get settled down. This boundary, if you measure with temperature or with a concentration, we will get a boundary that we call as solubility limit. So solubility limit is a limit which segregate 2 different phases. Here we will take example of iron unary phase diagram. X-axis is the pressure, y-axis is the temperature. This alpha, eta, gamma and delta are the different solid phases. Here we have a liquid phase and here we have a gas phase above 3000 degrees Celsius. This alpha represents BCC, gamma represents FCC, delta represents BCC, eta represents SCP crystal structure. That's why there are 4 different phases in solid, because the lattice parameter may be different for this BCC and BCC. Now I want you to practice little bit on this phase diagram, and you have to find out the phases, the components, the degree of freedom and the variables at point A, B and C. I will take one point and I will tell you how to calculate it. For example, at point A, we have only one phase, that is alpha. At point A, we have only a single component, because the whole phase diagram is having a single component, that is iron. So we have C equal to 1. Variables, we have 2 variables here. One is called as pressure, one is called as temperature. So C here is, N here is 2, and degrees of freedom, if we calculate using this, is equal to 2. Similarly, solve for other points.